What is going on, guys? Today I have a gearing video for you, and this is probably one of the last videos of the gearing, or times I've played the gearing before the German destroyers are being added. They are going to be added, well, the time of the video, this will be before the update. It'll be tomorrow, actually, when the update goes live, but when the video is uploaded, they'll already be in the game. So this is about, the game itself is probably about 2 days before, I want to say. And here we are on Islands of Ice in the Gearing. Now, one of the things that, and I don't want, this is theory crafting here, but one of the things about the Gearing that I am kind of worried about with these new German destroyers is what role is it going to play? Is it going to be a little overshadowed? A lot of people kind of have the consensus that the German battleships overshadowed the American ones when they were introduced. And so, well, I just hope that's not the same for the Gearing, because there's a lot of players, including me, you know, who put a lot of time into getting this. This was my first tier 10, so it took me ages to get it, you know. And I'm sure the other Gearing on the enemy team there, he probably doesn't want, you know, Z52 to be able to overtake this thing's usefulness. And we've already pretty much dealt with that with the Kavarovsk. This was the go-to gunship for destroyers at the introduction of World of Warships. But as soon as Kavarovsk was brought into the game, it became more of a jack of all trades, which, in that regard, it does serve very nicely. So I basically hope that the new German destroyers that are added in are not going to change that. But enough talk about those, let's talk about the game. Now we're going to go towards B here. Now B is probably one of the more influential caps you have in, I mean, that's pretty much the same for any sort of map you're on. The middle cap is always going to be influential. If you don't have the middle cap, then realistically, you don't have very good, well, how do you want to say it? If you don't take the middle cap, you can't really flex left or right, if that makes any sort of sense. And if you start with C, then you have to fight into B usually, or, you know, vice versa, A into B. But if you take B first, you can fight left or right out of it, if that makes sense. So it's always good to have B. And the enemy destroyer seems to think the same thing, because they're capping it too. Now we're going to move in here. We've already got a friendly on it. I'm a little slow. The Gearing is kind of a slow ship for as far as destroyers go. But the friendly here, he's pausing the cap. And now we're just going to wait and see if he manages to spot the enemy in here.
Enemy force detected.
Now there's an Atago. It doesn't have camo, so it's probably a Takao, realistically. I don't have the port selected, Yokosuka. But really unimportant. I don't want to shoot him because that'll instantly give me away. I'm still stealthed up right now, so shooting him, oh, we're detected now. Which means shooting him isn't going to matter. Someone's deploying smoke over there. Ah, the Yagumo. They're going to open fire on him because it's pretty close, but now we notice there's a Fletcher right over to the left, so we're going to pop our smoke here. We really don't want to get into a 2v1 right here. Our friendly destroyer hasn't engaged them yet. Now I waited to pop my repair to put the fire out until after I was undetected. That way any shots coming in, we're going to torp that smoke there, but any shots coming in are now not going to, you know, hopefully they're not going to set me on fire and, you know, have to burn a while. Torping the smoke, I really don't expect it to hit, but you never know your luck, so we'll try it out. Now we are waiting to see if it scares him out of there, and we notice that there's some fire coming from over there, and we're detected again, and that's that Fletcher that was right there. We're undetected now, but we're just going to shoot at it. Managed to set him on fire blindly. And you can kind of, you know, with the US destroyers like this, you can pretty much aim where you think they are and try and find where the shells are hitting by looking for explosions. It's similar to artillery in World of Tanks. But you have such a high rate of fire, if you see an explosion where it should just hit water, you know you're hitting it. It's very easy to just keep up with that. We're back out of our smoke. We basically did a little circle. I'm going to fire at this Iowa just a couple times before I go behind this island and get back into cover. We're going to try and hug the island in case that Fletcher is around there. The closer we are to the island, the less likely he's going to be able to hit us. The Yagumo took a few shots, but we're going to dodge this pretty easy. Our friendlies should be able to capture B pretty easily over there, so we're just going to leave it to them. I'm going to have a battleship and a destroyer, so eventually they'll get it. The battleship will probably just get reset indefinitely, but the destroyer, he's all stealthed up, so whatever, right? He'll cap it. We're going to move into B here. Don't want to run into our friendly North Carolina, but we kind of want to look out for that Fletcher because he is going to be lurking around over here. With all these ships over here that are spotted, he's going to be trying to torp them. I mean, you have a North Carolina here, you have a Montana and a Grossa Coopers. And then you have, look like 2 cruisers and another destroyer, which, I mean, some of them are probably not going to be detected. But that's a lot of ships. So likely the Fletcher's going to might be over here. Now, I'm going to torp into the smoke, but I'm waiting to... I kind of see where they're firing from. And I'm lining that basically up with that Yamato there. That way, if they don't hit what's in the smoke, maybe they'll go past and hit the Yamato. You never know. Alright. Now he's almost in range. About 2 kilometers, I want to say he'll be in range. But the Montana is in range here. Now there's a little island right there. I'm going to start to put that in between me and the enemy team. That way I don't have to use a smoke charge. I didn't mention this earlier, but I actually use torpedo armor, or excuse me, I don't have that. Torpedo acceleration, which means I don't have superintendent, and so I don't get as many smoke charges. So basically, if I don't have to use smoke, I don't want to. The smoke is back, but is torp hitting the smoke? Like I say, you never know your luck. But if I don't have to use the smoke, I don't want to, so I'm just going to park behind this island. And this is where the really bad gun arcs, the US, pretty much any of the US actually, can kind of help you. Because now I'm basically able to shoot over this island, and I'm watching to see if that Fletcher comes around the corner and spots me. But I'm able to shoot over this island, and they can't see me, they can't shoot me back, but I can shoot them. That's because of these giant floaty arcs. Now we set him on fire, so we're going to go for this Iowa now, because he's burning in 2 different places, so... We're already at 40,000 damage. Try and get some fires on this island here. Now he's a pretty easy target, he's moving straight back. These are floaty arcs, always starting to turn. These floaty arcs, even if he's moving straight back, it's a very easy target simply because all I have to do is aim right where he's going to be. And yeah. Yamato's not moving very fast. I'm going to try and set him on fire because that Iowa I think is actually out of my range now. Get a fire on that Yamato, that's always nice. Look at a few AA together. I mean, that doesn't really matter in this match, there's no carriers, but yeah, whatever. Maybe you get points for it. You do actually. For incapacitating AA. Now, all of them are starting to move out of my range, rather, so I'm going to start moving forward. Watching the last shells hit, but you can see they all missed. And there's that enemy Iowa there is on very low health. You can see that there's an Udaloy moving in. Now, I thought he was going to go and smoke the Iowa and let the Iowa try and heal up and disengage. Because a lot of that damage was HE. But I don't think that Udaloy is actually going to do that. But the Iowa is trying to heal, so we do need to kill him. Try to kill him before he's able to heal up. I mean, look how low he is. Around 3,900 health, and we're going to drop that down a little bit. I think he's out of his heal, so once we adjust our aim and start actually landing shots, we should be able to finish him off. He is on the very edge of our range, so I am kind of praying for a fire, that way he just finishes him. We have been spotted, someone just took off most of it, and there we go. But we have been spotted right there, so I do want to get moving, because obviously any destroyer that's sitting still, even a battleship is going to want to take care of that, but you know. Alright. There's a smoke cloud over there, so that means there's, since there's HE coming out of it, there's definitely a destroyer there. And plus the only cruiser is spotted. The only cruiser left in the game on their team is spotted right now. Well, actually he's dead. So it couldn't have been a Royal ship. Firing a few times at that Fletcher, but then we see this U-200 is much closer, much easier target. And he's going to go back with that smoke. Fire a few more times. And this is where that floaty arc really goes to hurt you. Even though he's only 7.9 kilometers the last time I saw him, I can't hit him. Well, I did hit him there, but that was not very good. The guns really are only good at close range or when you're shooting just giant targets like Yamatos. Our torps that we fired a little bit earlier look like they're going to hit. Yep, we got 3 of them. So he's going to have either burned his damage control or he'll be flooding. And it looks like he just burned it because we're not getting any new damage on a little counter up in the right hand corner, top right hand corner. A few torps coming in, so we're going to slow down and start turning to avoid them. And he's not facing me, but I'm going to pop smoke here because he's got long range secondaries most likely. And I really don't want to get hit by those. You can see him going off on someone else right now. So we're going to pop smoke. Now we're going to go forward a little bit. We're going to go at quarter speed just to kind of spread it out a little more. Make it a little harder for the enemy to judge exactly where we are if they want to torp us. We do have him burning again, so that's always nice. Looks like we might get one more puff and then we're going to have to stop on the smoke screen. Now, if I wanted to make it longer, I could go full speed, but the thing is, if I do that, then I'm going to be spotted while I do it, so I'm not going to do that. Another fire on him. Now we're going to start backing up. Now, one of the things that whenever I see a destroyer smoke up, I'm going to see him essentially... What happens is, I will fire towards the middle, but sometimes you'll see him fire towards the last puff of smoke, if that makes sense, like the farthest... or the one that was last laid, if that makes any sort of sense, because that's generally where they think the DD will be. But realistically, since we've already got 2 fires on him and he's weak, we're going to fire on his North Carolina. But if you back up and they fire to that front line, then the torpedoes will miss, and he's going to burn it. There we go. Trying to start a fire on his North Carolina. And so that's one of the reasons I back up. The other reason is if you get back to the starting point of your smoke and you're stock still and all of a sudden you get detected, that means your smoke's run out. So if you're not paying attention, but you know, oh crap, I'm spotted, you can pull forward back into your disappearing smoke, quit firing, and then since you're in the smoke, your stealth will come back. And then when you leave the smoke, hey look, we have stealth. Speaking of not paying attention, I'm going to ram into the friendly Montana here, and there's only 3 of us left right now, but 3 versus 4, but that's about to change. Looks like North Carolina here's going to burn to death too. Ooh, dodge the torp, come on. Yeah, there we go. And the New Orleans finishes. And Oodaway out there, I'm hopelessly probably never going to hit that guy. We just took a big chunk. This Fletcher though, he looked weak before he disappeared there. Friendly out there saying he's sorry for the steal. And now that this Oodaloi is a little closer, not focused on me, I'm going to engage him because he is a pretty big target, but I have a lot more hit points. So even if he is a little hard to hit, I don't have to hit him nearly as much. And that's when the Fletcher engages me. Now the Fletcher just pops smoke because he is weak, but one of the things I was mentioning earlier about the Gearing is you can basically just spam shots and wait till you see you're hitting. And there was knocking out incapacitations, and he still sees me because the Oodaloi is spotting me, and then there's a Gearing over there too. But we have managed to hit him just by blind firing in there. Now this Gearing's gonna really start hurting, so I need to pop smoke here. Now one of the huge things about this fire is since I repaired, now I've got to burn until my repair thing comes back in 15 seconds. So that's going to diminish my effectiveness in potentially dealing with this Gearing later. Now it is just him left, which is great. But I'm low health. And if I die, The last two people are never going to be able to outspot him. They're never going to be able to catch up. And that's going to be harsh. And unfortunately, I accidentally pressed the wrong key. You ever have it where you think you're pressing W and you're pressing E? Well, that's what I just did there. So, yeah, we're going to run aground here. And basically, I'm going to go full steam ahead, try and ram into it as fast as I can and just back my way off of it, because at this point I'm gonna hit it no matter what, so may as well make it a quick process. That's one thing that sometimes even I struggle with still, but I see a lot of people doing that, and I've asked for help for the team right there. But you'll see them, they slow down and think, oh no, I'm gonna turn out of the way. It's like, if you know you're gonna hit, just go at it straight, full steam ahead. You'll get there quicker. You can start backing up quicker. Now I'm gonna nose out here, and I don't have any smoke. I let them know that, and this is where I'm like, all right, he's got radar, hopefully, New Orleans. But I kind of overestimate that because I don't think he does. And here's the gear. He's on a lot more health than I am, so I need to do as much damage as possible. Excuse me. Now I switched to AP thinking I could get engine hits and do a lot more damage, but unfortunately, you'll see I'm still getting overpens, and he's going to take me down. Now he's going to have a little bit of a debuff. Well, he would have if he didn't pop smoke, but this is where I kind of overestimated the New Orleans, rather. I was thinking he has radar, and I was like, alright, if you pop it now, you'll be able to finish that gearing off. Unfortunately, though, he doesn't have radar. You just see he launched his scout plane right there, which means he doesn't have radar because it takes the slot of the scout fighter, and yeah. So this was kind of, in my opinion, this was my fault, and I totally should have been firing HE, weakened him, maybe set him on fire, things like that. But, well, I guess you can't win them. Now, there would be the chance that we could win this. We do have 2 caps, and as long as we defend the 2 caps, we might be able to overtake their point advantage before they, before the timer ends. And so I'm basically saying, I'm about to say, hey, Nollins, if you go first and screen for the Montana, your maneuverability means you should be able to dodge a little better. Someone's saying go eat torps. So Montana go eat torps for the New Orleans. And I'm like, no, gearing torps are good. Let the Nollins go ahead and screen. So hopefully that's what happens. Now they did just spot him here, so they know he's pretty close. He probably was trying to launch torps, but I don't think it's going to matter now. Now they have lost vision because New Orleans was through the smoke there, but now that he's out of it, that guy's close enough that they got a shot on him before he goes there. And there's the torps that we just expected, but unfortunately, they're going to take out New Orleans, which now gives them a significant lead on the points. And I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. The rest of this battle is pretty boring. I mean, it was exciting when I watched it because I was like, trying to do the math in my head, say, hey, can we cap this? And unfortunately, this is what probably screwed us over the most right here. The gearing got on C, which means we're not taking any points from that, which means our points are going up the same amount that theirs are. So we're not gaining any. Now I thought he was going to try and cap it. I was like, alright, Montana, if you go in there, you can probably scare him out or kill him if he tries, if he's stupid and stays there. But he was smart and he got back off the point. He did exactly what he needed to do. He delayed our cap point progress going up. Just enough that, unfortunately, we do end up losing this game. And so, what I'm going to end up doing, I'm just going to quick drag the cursor across here and bring it to the end result screen. But let me just show you real quick, actually. We'll just go ahead and fast forward here. Oops, a little too far. And you can see in the top, when it finally did reach 0 on the clock, We had 876 points, and they had 879. So that was an unfortunate defeat. The Gearing did exactly what he should have done, and props to him for that. Definitely can't blame him for doing what he should. But it did suck to lose such a good game. So we'll go ahead and go to the end results here. Oops. I apologize for having the little video player on the bottom there. Unfortunately, that was the only way I could get audio for this. So 173,000 damage, the Witherer medal, 3 ships sunk. We did have a couple stolen from us. 4 torpedoes, that was it though. We mostly used our guns and started fires, that's not even a lot of fires, but they just burned for a while. Friendly Yagumo did slightly better than us, so props to him. I mean, I had a pretty good game myself, but the fact that he did better, that's great. Not much to see here, just kind of spread out. That Yamato took 91,000 damage there. And we made 175,000 off of our credits. So all in all, that's not bad for a tier 10, and I really hope you enjoyed this unfortunate defeat. I'll see you next time.